the lore behind No Man's Sky and some of their plans for the future of No Man's Sky that they said even a long time ago, and more here on Cobra TV. Thank you guys for coming back to another episode of Cobra TV. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the lore of No Man's Sky, what they plan on for the future, some of these things they said so long ago, and some of those things could be features that they were adding in through the duration of those 6 months until June, as they said they were adding features, but who knows? So far, what do we know about the lore in No Man's Sky? We do know that the Sentinels were seeded by an ancient race of aliens throughout the universe. And there's a reason why they are a bit out of control. But since we know that there is a lore in No Man's Sky, that is a very thick story for lore. I mean, you're playing a game that doesn't have any real basic storytelling, but yet there's information there to allow you to know that the Sentinels were seeded by an ancient race of aliens that were there before you, and there's a reason why the Sentinels are a bit out of control. So how much of No Man's Sky is lore? And will we know every time that we see something that is part of the lore? And don't forget that you, as a character playing this game, you are part of the lore. There's a reason why you are in this universe doing what you're doing. So if we go all the way back to the Edge magazine, it was an article, an interview with Hello Games, all the members, and they talked a little bit about the lore. And some things in this article I've not covered, and I haven't seen that much in anybody else's videos. So let's dig right into it. So a part of the article here starts out, you could combine different resources, he says, but a planet generally only has one type. So to maximize your profit as a trader, you might visit a few different planets, then combine some resources, then go to a space station and sell it. And that is based on this periodic table that we won't tell you anything about. That show and don't tell approach extends to the game's lore. Hello Games has a narrative written down on paper with a reason for the player's presence and their activities, and details of various races that preceded you. There will be an antagonist of sorts, something Murray terms a malevolent force, and there will be a compelling reason to head towards the center of the galaxy, as well as an ending that Murray suggests will provide the players with a sense of closure. I would like for people to reach the center of the galaxy and feel like they could put down the gaming pad, that they had completed the game, because it bothers me with games that go on forever. In an ideal world, at that point, others will feel like continuing to play, and we will give them a reason to do that. You shouldn't, however, expect any cutscenes or dialogues or even much text within the game outside of the bare minimum for the UI and details of the flora and fauna you've discovered. The narrative in the background, says Murray, is a means for Hello Games to build a consistent world and for everything within it to have a logical explanation for its presence. When you find, say, a building, he adds, we'll have had discussions about what type of building is there, the type of architecture, what kind of materials it's constructed from. We fully expect when the game releases that no one will pick up on it or make any sense of it, but hopefully they won't think the opposite, which is that it's a mishmash of styles, even things like seeing certain insignias on ships, then again on buildings, part of the lore. And also some elements of that being in the UI when you interact with those things. I don't really feel the need as a player to know everything about that. It just feels a bit more like this universe is a real place. As such, you won't see any checklists or objectives or UI pop-ups. You won't be told your morality has shifted or that you have destroyed 4 of 6 freighters and earned a ship upgrade. But we laugh about that, and that's what normally happens even in Battlefield 4 when you're in this incredible simulation of war. The audio in that game is just amazing, and it feels really real. And then you shoot somebody and you get like a combo or whatever, it pops up. So in No Man's Sky, you won't get a message saying that. So in No Man's Sky, you won't get a message saying that there is a bounty on this person and go attack them, find them in this area, and that sort of thing. That's something that we want to avoid. It's not like I hate those games. There's just enough people doing it that we don't need to, with no extrinsic motivators and little by way of traditional direction. So the lore in No Man's Sky is going to be rather suggestive. If you see a certain symbol on a trade station and you see it on a ship or you see it on a building, you're going to kind of put together your own set of clues. And like Sean Murray said, they have a reason for everything. So what's really going to be cool is seeing all these YouTube channels trying to piece together this lore. I wonder how many different interpretations there's going to be, or if it's really strongly suggestive that we may even come up with the same lore. But there is a lore/story in No Man's Sky. For all of you that there's a lot of people out there that are still commenting a game without a story. Boo. You know, and that's cool. I understand. Some people like certain things. And definitely everybody's entitled to their own opinion and taste. But rest assured, for those people that are upset, that there is a story in No Man's Sky. And I think it's the coolest way to tell a story, because that sense that you get when you finally realize why something is happening the way it's happening in No Man's Sky, and you figured it out. You put the pieces together and you're like, oh my gosh, that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see that. And this article was written quite a while ago, and They've been pretty consistent about talking about updates for the game when it comes out. GameSpot, to a lot of people, was the only time that they ever talked about a traditional multiplayer, but it's not. It was also talked about in the Edge magazine. So now let's take a look on their future plans for No Man's Sky. Hello Games, and the article goes on to read, Hello Games' biggest challenge now may be knowing where to draw the line, and not just in terms of what it's prepared to give away, but how the game itself develops. Murray has said that when No Man's Sky is released, not everything in it hopes to include in the long term will be possible, but dismisses the idea that this will be anything like early access. A lot of the fun of making games for me is the craft of it. It's not that we have Nintendo-esque values, it's more like we aspire Nintendo values. So the idea of releasing something that's half broken or half finished does not appeal to me at all. This is an example of that dreaded term, games as a service. That phrase scares the life out of me, laughs Murray, but something more like after-sales care. Games like Minecraft, DayZ, Starbound have shown this new way of making games where there is a core experience that is brilliant and is fun, but every update brings something new. In other words, the No Man's Sky you'll play at launch will be quite different to the experience you'll have planet hopping a year later. And while Hello Games doesn't want to change too much about the core game, it isn't short of ideas about how it might develop. For example, in the game, there are already grenade-like plasma balls, and your weapon, a multi-tool, which, like much of No Man's Sky's technology, has a wonderfully retro-futuristic look, will allow you to blow holes in things. But Murray and Ream hint at a more extensive terrain deformation, ground vehicles, and more traditional multiplayer made to come later. The studio is certainly not shy of ideas then, and indeed Murray suggests that there are many that could be applied to the core of the game that it's difficult to know where to stop. There are continual ideas that we have put into a box and not touch right now. He says we're this small team already making an impossible game. Hopefully, if the game is a success, we will go and open that box a little bit and dip into it. That is more appealing to me right now than moving on to another game, to take this game and to fully explore it. It's hard to imagine Hello Games' idea chest will remain sealed because this is a universe that positively invites exploration. For some players, No Man's Sky will indeed be that Han Solo simulator, but others can instead adopt the role of interstellar Attenborough, documenting rare creatures which can be viewed in an in-game encyclopedia once uploaded. Both approaches can be equally valid. Players will have the freedom to happily tinker about at the fringes of the galaxy, even as others are subtly encouraged towards the center. We're not making a Proteus in space, says Murray, before instantly admitting that for some players it will be a similarly ambient, even meditative experience. Some people will be disappointed that it's not Halo, he says. We can't guarantee that you, as somebody who maybe plays FIFA and Call of Duty, are going to like it. But isn't it good that it exists? So there you have it. Hello Games has a box of ideas written down in it that they want to add as updates in the game. And I think that seeing how successful that the game's going to be with the buzz created and the community created behind it, they might be going into that box right now. As they said that between now and the release, they're going to be adding features to the game that they've never talked about before, but they're some of the most requested. It's pretty cool to think about what those features could be, but be careful, guys. If you get too hyped up for something that has not been confirmed, that could let you down. But no, just know that everything we've seen has been spoiler-free so far. They admitted to that. And just know that features are being added that we don't even know about right now. Awesome stuff to come, guys. Very, very awesome. But remember, stay true to what he's already said and what you see in the trailers. That's what's got me happy. Keep an eye out for your subcast. They should be uploaded tomorrow. As always, I love you guys. Thank you for stopping by. This is the best community on YouTube, period. Until next time.